This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Of the press for being with us this afternoon. For over 50 years, the Jim Crockett organization has insisted on presenting the finest in quality and exciting spectator entertainment. For the last number of years, its founder, the late Jim Crockett Sr., brought to millions of fans the finest in professional wrestling throughout this country. This tradition of excellence and this highest standards of competition continues under the able direction of his family. Today, we're pleased to announce the selection of the host city for the 1986 James Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup, featuring the top talent in professional wrestling. After a lengthy review of the many cities bidding for this fine event, that final decision was made, and New Orleans, Louisiana was selected. We're here to present some of the details regarding that stellar competition, its all-star participants, and ticket information we know that all our wrestling fans will want to hear. With us today is the family of Mr. Crockett, including David, Jackie, Francis, and the president of our company, James Crockett Jr. But first, it is my sincere privilege to present the wife of our founder, Mrs. James Crockett Sr. Mrs. Crockett?
Thank you. I and my family are very honored to have this tag team tournament named after my late husband, Jim Crockett. He was one of the original founders of the National Wrestling Alliance, and we wish for the Superdome in New Orleans a big success on the first annual Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup Tag Team Tournament. And we look forward to possibly having next year's tournament in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a word from the Executive Vice President of the New Orleans Superdome, Mr. Bob Johnson.
We at the Super.
Did we just watch this same thing on syndicated TV the other day?
Yes, we well, not the same thing. We saw the Bob Johnson interview.
Oh, we saw Francis talking too. I think we did.
Oh, you mean Mrs. Crockett?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. I don't know. I don't remember seeing, because I worked with Francis so long, and that close up of her. She always she had a great laugh and always had a great sense of humor, and you could just tell she was ready to just bust out laughing there. Because I know Francis so well. And yeah, and this is part of Bob Johnson. And I think Jim Oshis, by the way, who's bored us all to death here, I believe he worked at the Greensboro Coliseum for years. Okay. And then Crockett's hired him along with Rob Garner. Here's Rob. Rob worked at WBTV for a long time in sales. And Rob and Jim Oshis came on and worked and started working for WCW when they were bought by Turner. And Jim Oshis, he was a good guy. And I don't know how long he worked for us. Rob Garner worked for us to the end. Jim Oshis, I'm not so sure. But I remember Jim Oshis had this thing in Atlanta. And this is during the WCW era. And they brought in, I believe I got this right, they brought in like event managers and building managers from all over to have a little get together. And Oshis wanted Dusty Rhodes to speak to them. So they had it at this place of the Omni. Oh, look at this.
Bill Apter.
Oh, God.
24-team field for the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Cup and the $1 million were prepared by the editors of Pro Wrestling Illustrated on March 9th. The top 10 seeds are, in the order of seeding, the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, America's Team, Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA, the National Wrestling Alliance World Tag Team Champions, the Midnight Express, NWA World Champion Ric Flair and World TV Champion Arn Anderson, from Canada, former AWA Champion Rick Martel and Canadian International Champion Dino Bravo, the Rock and Roll Express, from Japan, Tiger Mask and former NWA Champion Giant Baba. Also entering the tournament are the Koloffs from the Eastern Bloc, from Australia, the Kiwi Sheepherders, and finally, number 10, the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Ted DiBiase and Steve Williams. Thank you.
Yay.
Can you believe that the Midnights are third?
Well, of course, my God, you see that kid in the tan?
Yeah.
All right, it's Andy Kaplan. The next kid is the guy that who came after me to do and I can't remember his name. He did the Charlotte baseball team after I left. But Andy Kaplan on
this, man.
Okay.
Thank you. You know, anybody that's been involved in wrestling knows of the tradition of the Crockett family. And certainly we were fortunate enough to start a tradition with wrestling in the Superdome. And it's become one of the greatest spectator events in the world today. And we were very pleased to go together with the Superdome management and be able to put a bid in that got this fantastic tournament for our fans, for all the fans in the world. And you're talking about history being made, something that could never be done. This is the inaugural event, the first time ever that this cup will be at stake in $1 million with all the top teams in the world today. It's going to be the most fantastic spectator event, something that no one can afford to miss. We do have one thing that we want to add is that I have always had a dream that the Superdome would be the site of the NWA World's Championship changing hands. And we've put together another lucrative contract to give our fans the opportunity to see just such a situation. And we've had Ric Flair pull out of the tournament for the $1 million in the Jim Crockett Sr. Memorial Trophy to defend his world's heavyweight title against a guy that I've been fortunate enough to be associated with a long time, tag teamed with some, one of the first headliners of the young superstar of the first Superdome event ever. The man that I feel can beat Ric Flair, where the fans will see the world's title change hands. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I know, Bill, that's going to create some problems with some of the tag teams that are involved.
Well, we have studied this, and Magnum TA has chosen Ronnie Garvin to replace Dusty Rhodes because of his offensive ability, and Arn Anderson has taken Tully Blanchard on. However, the seedings will remain the same. Seedings will not change.
Well, I think it's going to be the most fantastic thing ever. We will have a surprise main event for the afternoon session. This is the first time ever also that we've had a tournament of this magnitude where there'll have to be an afternoon event to have the first round matches to get them out of the way so that when the people come for the evening session, they'll be into the finals. But we'll have a surprise main event, some great attractions. That'll be a $10 first come, first serve for the whole afternoon session. That ticket will not be good that evening. And then that evening, of course, this fantastic match with all the top talent anybody's ever dreamed of seeing in a fantastic tag team tournament, plus the World's Heavyweight Championship. And we hope to have one other great main event for that also. Thank you.
I thought Bill Watts came off pretty well right there.
Yeah, he did a good job. Well, Bill could do it, man. Bill was one of those guys you listened to and you thought, man, that fucker's serious.
Speaking of fuckers.
Wow.
We heard the announcement from Bill Watts. You and Tully Blanchard are fourth seed. That's a pretty good seed.
Well, number one, Tony Schiavone, I want to talk about one thing. Flair discussed this with myself and Tully Blanchard, and we all felt that he should get a crack at Dusty by himself so he can pay back a few little things that Dusty's been doing to our family personally. So we decided as a unit that Flair would do this, okay?
Okay.
All right. Number two, the fact I should be seated number one is simply on the fact that I am world television champion. That's what's got me perturbed. Seated fourth is not good enough. I'm not fourth rate. Tully Blanchard's not fourth rate. Ric Flair's not fourth rate, okay? The fact that he's my partner, well, who else? Anytime you put a combination, it could have very well been Tully and Flair, me and Flair, me and Tully. So that's fine and dandy. The only thing that's got me perturbed is the seating arrangement. You understand? But rest assured, we'll beat who we have to achieve what we have to, and that means $1 million split two ways, Tony Schiavone, as a hunk of cash. You understand what I'm saying?
I know that.
Now, that aside, you've got a young man up here, Michael Jackson, that last week you gave a plug as being a good athlete, being a good wrestler, a lot of talent, granted all that. So what I felt, being the athlete that I am, being the world television champion that I am, I'm going to do what Dusty Rhodes never did. I'm going to go out here week in and week out and defend this world television title against only the top competitors. So we're going to give Michael Jackson a shot at the most prestigious belt in the world today, other than Ric Flair's World Heavyweight title, Tony Schiavone, and right here on national television.
Okay. Arn Anderson will defend his world TV title right here, right now. Let's go to the ring.
What do you think?
I like it. It's going to be good because they always gave Mike Jackson a lot of, they gave him a lot as far as, and of course, as you said, at 95 years old, he's still wrestling.
Yeah, Mr. Alabama, baby.
Yeah, he was competing with Arn Anderson for Bald Spot of the Year, too, on this one.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.